In 2003, the groundwater table in Chirawa, Rajasthan, was dropping between 10 and 15 feet every single year. At that rate, the local math was simple and grim. Within 20 years, the entire region was on track to become a completely uninhabitable wasteland. This crisis reached the household level almost immediately. When the water vanished, the cost of maintaining a farm began to outpace the actual value of the harvest. As the land stopped producing, the social structure followed. The younger generation began migrating to cities, leaving their ancestral homes behind in a search for basic work. Industrialist Raghu Hari Dalmia saw this decline during a visit to his ancestral village. He realized the situation required more than temporary relief. It required a complete engineering and economic overhaul. Dalmia approached the drought as a technical failure. By treating the region's collapse as a systemic problem rather than a stroke of bad luck, he could begin to map out a structural solution. Work began in 2004 with the founding of the RJDSS Trust. The first priority was immediate access, leading to the construction of over 5,000 rainwater harvesting tanks to secure drinking water for the community. While surface tanks provided a temporary fix for families, the long-term survival of the farms depended on refilling the deep underground aquifer. The region was already full of infrastructure that had been rendered obsolete. These massive four-color stone wells were once the pride of Shekhawati, but as the water table dropped, they were left dry and abandoned. The engineering team decided to repurpose these structures. They converted the old extraction wells into recharge wells, using them to channel monsoon rainwater directly back into the earth. As the groundwater levels stabilized, a new problem became apparent. Even with a more reliable supply, the farmers were still extracting water at the same aggressive, inefficient rates they had used for years. Stabilizing the supply was only the first step. To keep the aquifer from being drained again, the project would have to address how that water was actually being used on the surface. A pilot study revealed a significant inefficiency in local habits. Farmers were watering wheat crops up to 14 times per cycle, even though scientific data suggested 6 cycles were sufficient. The trust launched a training program to shift the local mindset. The goal was to move from brute force labor to a model of precision agriculture. This transition included a move toward organic, chemical-free farming. By improving soil health, the farms could retain more moisture and eliminate the recurring expense of chemical fertilizers. Initially, many farmers were skeptical. The common belief was that organic methods would require significantly more labor while producing lower yields. The results of the pilot program disproved those fears. Farmers found they could maintain or even increase their output while cutting out the massive financial burden of chemical inputs entirely. This shift changed the nature of farming in Chirawa. What was once a desperate act of survival was becoming a controlled, efficient business. The data shows the reversal. Groundwater extraction dropped from 17,600 to 10,800 million liters. Meanwhile, recharge systems return 1.2 billion liters annually. This surplus water supports a 50% production increase, generating over 80 million rupees in new income. These economic changes have led to a demographic shift, a trend of reverse migration. Young people who left for menial city jobs are returning to their villages. The land is becoming an attractive place to build a career again. This new generation is approaching their land as agri-startups, bringing a focus on new technologies and market strategies to their ancestral fields. The road that once served as an exit for desperate villagers is now a path for returning entrepreneurs. Systemic change happens when the local economy is restored. By fixing the resource, the region has built an ecosystem where the next generation actually chooses to stay and grow.